And so I'm going to be starting. I know a lot of questions have been asked. My first segment is on wealth. My first segment is on wealth. So if you want to ask questions, just send in your questions. The moderators are collating the questions and then they'll put it into segments and I'll be able to answer it. Okay, so I'm going to start talking about wealth first. I'll speak just for about 10 minutes and then I'll let the questions come in and I'll answer. Hey, Pastor Martin, I want to say hello to you. Thank you for, how can Pastor Martin register for my webinar? I had to quickly deregister him and bring him onto the panelist. It was like John the Baptist that said, the one coming after me is mightier than I am, whose shoe latch I'm not even capable of untying. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I'm going to start talking about wealth from the definition I caught from Dr. Martin Williams. I coined it this way from him. He said, wealth is relationships that give you access to health and riches. Wealth is relationships that give you access to health and riches. Okay. I caught that from him and I told him I'm going to use it. And he said, no, you don't even need to ask for permission, but I need to give him the credit all the same. Now, talking about wealth, this is something I want you to know. Just last week, I had to counsel two people, and it was about the issue of money. And they were trying to look at money vis-a-vis wealth. And I said, becoming rich and becoming wealthy are two different things. But I want to teach you today about how to really become wealthy. Number one, building wealth is a learnable skill. Okay? It can be improved. It can be enhanced. You can be coached. You can be trained. Okay. Building wealth is a learnable skill. Like most things. Okay. It becomes good. Okay. As you practice it. Okay. You become good at attracting money. Okay. The same way you become good at public speaking. The same way you become good at losing weight, mastering a second language. So most people, don't understand that they can, actually become wealthy by learning how to be so. Okay. So how do you become wealthy? How do you become wealthy? You have to understand, since I said it's a laminable skill. For instance, if you want to have a college degree, you go to the university. If you want to, learn to become a plumber, you go to a trade center or a skill center and you learn that. In the same way, if you want to become wealthy, you need to learn the ropes of becoming wealthy. And one of the things you need to do is to have these three things or people in your life. You need to have a mentor, you need to have a sponsor, and you need to have a coach. You say, oh, really? What does that mean? There's a difference. You need to have a mentor. You need to have a sponsor. You need to have a coach. Some of the times I talk to people that work 9 to 5. And one of the problem is I'm working 9 to 5. I'm getting paid so amount. And I need to become wealthy. On this amount, I can't make so much. What do I need to do? You understand? To be able to have more money. Okay. Now, while you're working 9 to 5, what you need in that space is a sponsor. Who is a sponsor? I remember one time, one of my sons sent this into us, said, mighty is a God who is always with us, who advocates for us in rooms where we would never be. Okay? There has to be someone that advocates for you in the space, in your office space where you will not be. A lot of times you put your nose in the air and you don't know that boss that you didn't say hello to, that one that you didn't repack for him at the car park is the one that was going to be at the board meeting and could say that girl is a nice girl. Because you all came in with your good degrees, you all came in with your good resume, but something has to stand you out. A sponsor makes that difference. So most times we ignore our sponsors. We ignore the one that would say, let me give you an example. There was a king in the Bible called King Saul. Something was wrong with him and he needed some form of therapy. They said they needed someone to play the harp, the flute, and someone recommended David. David was meant for the throne, but he needed a sponsor to bring him into the space of the king so that the prophecy and the promise can be fulfilled. So a lot of times we are so ignorant of the fact that we always need someone to mention our name before the king. So if you want to become wealthy, you need to recognize, I said three things. You need a mentor, you need a sponsor, you need a coach. Now, who is a mentor? Most times we understand the concept of mentorship, okay? And we say, oh, this is my mentor. Your mentor does not necessarily have to be the person that you interface with. I remember before I met this great man, Dr. Miles Murrow, that went to be with the Lord some years back, I had read all the books he had written before I ever set my eyes on him in 2002 or 3, thereabout. But by that time, all the books he had written. So that means his ideology was controlling my thought pattern. And you see, ideas, they're stronger than death. You see, when you have someone that you want to pattern your life after, go and read their books, go and read their biography, go and study their lifestyle. Now the world is a global village. So you can go and know so much about them and know what they do, what they're not doing right, what they did wrong. They will tell you their mistakes. You want someone to mentor you and you can't even pay $20 or 10,000 naira to buy their books. You're still joking. When you read the book of someone, you will know everything about them in 20 years, all in the pages of those 90 books. I mean, all those 90 pages. So you can have a mentor through their literature. You can have a mentor one-on-one, someone that you can have access to that can now tell you this is the way to go and this is the way not to go. Okay. And you can also have a mentor even by association. By association, okay? I won't talk to you today about how to maintain the space between your mentor and you. I'm just saying wealth is a learnable skill, and there are 3 people you need. You need a mentor, you need a sponsor, and you need a coach. Now, who is a coach? For that coach, it has to be someone that you have close proximity to, okay? If you're playing football, for instance, the coach would have to be on the field with you. The coach demonstrates what he wants you to do. So you need to have someone. A lot of people have their parents as good coaches. Some people are not fortunate enough. So the coach does what he wants you to do, and you sit and say, now, can you see what I'm doing? Now you can do it. Now you need to recognize these 3 people in your life and see if any of it is missing. If it is missing, then you may need to find out how you're going to get it. Because I told you, wealth is a learnable skill. And the best way to do it is to find people that are already wealthy. And then you begin to pattern your life after them. Your friends can provide you great support. However, unless they happen to be wealthy, they won't always have the right answers or attitude. So you can't just say, oh, you're staying in this same place. Sometimes you need to relocate. Sometimes you need to migrate. Sometimes you need to pursue and look for the people that you want to become like. It is very, very important. Okay. So if the people that should be in this category, they should be people that you respect. There should be people that are above you. There are vertical and horizontal relationship. If you want to go higher, you have to, flock with the people that are going higher. But there is a pattern, there is a set way of dealing with these people. But that's not my topic for today. I'm talking about how to become wealthy. The next thing is you need to learn money. Okay? So you need to understand the dynamics of money. There are laws that govern the use of money. There are laws that govern the use of acquiring money, how to retain it and how to spend it. Okay. So you need to understand how to read the books of money, profit and loss statement. You need to understand the rules of tax. Okay. You can avoid tax without evading it. Evading tax is a punishable offense in all countries of the world. But you actually can be smart enough not to pay so much on tax and yet still be legally right. So you can avoid tax without evading it. You have to understand the difference between asset and liability. A lot of times we keep acquiring things and we call them assets. Hey, bro, that thing is not an asset if it's not bringing money into your pocket. If it keeps draining you out, one of these days, sometimes ago, someone called me and said, I just bought a Porsche car. I said, really? That's a good one. And the car cost him a whooping $250,000. He brought me into his fleet and said, come and see my cars. And I said, the next year you would have lost almost 40% on the value of this car. He said, no. Another one will come out, will be more expensive. He does not understand the concept of asset and liability. You need to know that. If you want to be wealthy, you need to understand relationship. You also need to understand how money works. So I'm talking on money now. Okay. You need to know how to improve your credit score. In Nigeria, people think we don't do credit score. The banks actually do. When you want to ask for money, they'll tell you to give you your statement 2 years back, 1 year back. They want to track your spending habit. They want to know if you are dependable or reliable, if they can give you money. Let me tell you something. The money we put in the bank is a liability to the bank. The bank is eager to throw that money out, because when they give the money to you, it becomes an asset to them, because you will now be loaning from them. But they don't want to throw away their money to a risky venture. So they want to be sure you're financially sound when they are giving you the money. So you need to know how to improve your credit. You need to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. Okay? You also need to be able to use other people's money. I call it the OPM. Okay? These are the things you need to learn about money. Okay? And you can read books, you can attend webinars like these, you can, and some people are already asking me if I will be able to take them up. Not yet. Let's continue this. Number 3, I'm talking about how to become wealthy. You need to take charge of your finances, okay? You need to take charge of your finances. I'm going to say the old adage, the same thing we say all the time: earn more than you spend. It looks like a cliche, but let me tell you this: most people don't do that. They spend more than they earn. And let me tell you, when you keep borrowing, you are spending a future that you have not arrived at. You're spending a future that you have not attained. What do I mean by that? When you borrow, like you get credit. I remember whenever I'm in the US, when you get to the mall, they'll tell you, do you have a card? I'll say, no, I'm paying cash. They're wondering why. So if you get a card today, they're going to give you 10% off. They're going to give you 15% off. It sounds attractive, right? But hey, you are mortgaging a future that you have not arrived at. Don't be quick to take credit. If you're going to take credit, I remember I told you about understanding the difference between bad debt and good debt. If you're going to take credit, make sure you're taking credit for something that would bring more income to you, not something that would deplete you. You don't go and take credit to buy shoes, to buy clothes. I love dressing good, okay? My husband's slogan is love God, look good, and smell nice. But even at that, I will not go and spend money that I borrow to buy goods, okay? Okay, so I'm talking about earn more than you spend. Write that down somewhere. Okay, whether you're working 9 to 5, even if you're earning 100,000 or 50,000, it's not enough for you. If you want to increase your expense, you have to increase your income. Earn more than you spend. Number 2, under my third point is expenses. To make money, you need to be able to keep the money, and that means controlling your cost. Control your cost. You don't have to shop where the bourgeoisies are shopping. You don't have to shop at the expensive mall. Cut your coat according to the size of your fabric. Okay? Some things are cheaper in some areas. Like, for instance, if you're living in Nigeria, okay, there is some kind of a flashy, fake lifestyle in the Lekki axis. And so the same basket of tomatoes that will sell for 10,000 naira will sell in that same Lagos for 25,000 naira. Why don't you dash down once in a month and do your shopping? You will be saving like 50,000 naira by driving for 1 hour, just to make sure you're reducing your expense. That's how to take charge of your finances. Okay. Keep your credit in check. Okay. The wealthier you become, the more you will realize how important your credit score is. Don't just go and, get into something that will make you to fail or default in paying back. Okay, you want to buy more houses. The bankers want to loan you more once they know that your credit score is good. Okay, and then you can leverage on that. When the percentage interest is low, you can take it in and go and invest in a venture where you're going to make more. Take, for instance, I rent money at 10% and I can put it in a venture that I'll make 50%. That means I'm using other people's money and there's a 40% spread on that money. So I'm not saying you shouldn't borrow. I'm just saying borrow for the right reasons. Then financial planning. There's a good reason why a bank will always ask for your books. You need to have records. Now, right now, from today, if you have not been keeping records, when people come to for counseling, I ask them, how much do you spend a month on grocery? They cannot say. How much is your electricity bill? They cannot say. How much is this? They cannot say. So you don't even have control over your life. I cannot give mine to you to manage. Okay? So I'm talking about how to be wealthy. When I'm done, 15 minutes, please let me know so I can stop, so I can take some questions. If you leave me, I'll just be going on. Then the next thing, I'm talking about how to be wealthy. Don't show off yet. You can read my lips. Don't show off yet. We are too eager to show up. Right in this part of the world where I'm from, we even have the way we show that we're bigger than the other person. I better pass my neighbor. That is, I am, healthier, wealthier, richer than you. Over nothing. Okay? Don't show off yet. Show up first. Okay, you can still drive that old Camry. You can still drive that old Rio. You can still use that shoe, 6 more months, so that you can gather some more money for your asset. Okay, now the next point is save intentionally. Now, I understand that inflation can catch up with your savings, but save intentionally so that you can invest. And saving is a culture. Saving is a culture. Okay, you save intentionally. When you're earning 100,000, make sure that you save at least, I would say, save at least 30,000. Okay, some people have the rule of 10%, but you see, it helps you to know that you need to earn more money. Okay, save like 20% of your income. That is after you have paid your tithe. I believe in paying my tithe because I understand the Lord is my source. And I understand that I need to honor the Lord with my substance and with the first fruit of my increase. So every time an income comes to me, I set aside a 10% and say, God, because you're my source, this is for you. And then I set aside again. I pay myself. Immediately I take away my tithe. Okay. I take away my savings because that is my investment. I always ask these questions. How many times does your income work for you? Say, one time now. You can earn money on one income about 7 times. If I have time, I'm going to talk to you about that. One money comes to you, and then when you save it, you invest it, it becomes a paper asset, it becomes a passive income. I'm going to have to stop now and take some of the questions. And if I have more time, I would answer it. But lastly, before I start asking the question, I want to share this with you. I want you to know, never rely on one source of income. That's so key. A lot of people in distress now in this COVID-19 is because they relied on one source of income. But I'm grateful that now you understand whatever business that you're doing, you must divest. I'm going to share this with you from the king, from Ecclesiastes. It's a wisest man of his time. He said, ship your grain across the sea. After many days, you may receive a return. Invest in 7 ventures. Yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. Okay? So cast your bread upon many waters. Invest in 7 ventures. I believe in that principle, and I'm going to share with you how to do so. So let's take the questions now. I'm going to hand over to Ayo Phillips to let me know what questions I have, if I've not answered them already. Okay? Can I have the question again? How can I make more money to meet my needs? How can I discover the kind of business to venture in as I've tried many things? Okay, now let me tell you something about shape. Okay, God made each of us to fit for what we are capable of. The first thing is stop looking externally, start looking inwards. Most times we want to copy what everybody's doing. They say to you, oh, pineapple is the new thing in town. You want to rush to that. Oh, they're making money from furniture. You want to rush into that. Okay. You have to be sure about what you are capable of. There is that inner capacity and strength that is required for what you can do. And let me tell you something. It is God's plan and will for you to actually succeed and to be able to have enough to meet your need and to give to others. So you need to know what you can do. And then sometimes you may need to have a one-on-one discussion so that someone can prop you and make you see things from your blind spot, areas that you are not seeing. I don't want to have to give you a blanket answer because I don't even know who you are. Maybe you're someone who can only handle tens and you're asking for millions. Okay. And sometimes most people are like that. You quickly want to get rich. You want to make all the millions, but you don't even have capacity to handle 100. So I need to know, then I'll be able to tell you, okay, when you do that assessment, that this is what you're capable of, and then you can do it. I hope I answered that question. Okay. How can I? How can you source money to start business? You see, a lot of times we think that what we need to start business is always money. What you need to start business is always idea. And I can give you the example of myself. When we started out in the furniture business, we didn't even have any money. In fact, the reason we went into furniture was because my husband was working in an outfit before he resigned where they were making furniture. And then he discovered for every furniture that was sold, that people came to order for, they always paid 70% in advance. What you need to sell, to start business is not money, it's your integrity and your hard work. When you have integrity and hard work, every other thing will fall into place. So we were sourcing for this furniture, and we would go to the people that were making the furniture, and the people that want to buy from us will always give us a 70% in advance, and that was how we started. There was also another time when we needed to make supplies of furniture. That one was a ready-made furniture. What we did was angel investors. Who are angel investors? You go to your friends and say, oh, can you give me 5,000 or 10,000? I will return it tomorrow or next week. But most times when we go to our friends and we ask for this money, we never return those money. So we lose our credibility. So most people that you see saying that they're looking for capital, they actually have missed the opportunity for integrity at one point or the other. So people are not ready to invest in them. Let me tell you one very big truth. A lot of rich and wealthy people, they are looking for credible people that they can invest in. Because the best thing to do is to actually walk away from your money and let your money walk outside of you. Okay? If I see people that want to work and I'm sure I would have my perfect return on my investment, I will give it. But most people don't have that credibility. And so that is why they're not able to get people to buy into them. So first of all, you need to have integrity. Second of all, you need to make sure your idea is credible and profitable. And third of all, you need to be hardworking enough to prove to the people what you can do with little. Then if you're faithful in little, opportunity will come, more will come. The banks are ready. In Nigeria, the Bank of Industry is ready to loan as little as 50,000 and as much as 100 million. But they need to see your track records and what you're doing. So I don't agree to you that you're not going to get money. I mean, to do your business, there is. I have more questions. Okay, let's take this question also. Okay. Ayo, can I shed more light on what? Income generating assets. The first is real estate. And if you are in Lagos, Nigeria, land, location, location, location. Okay, I remember one particular property that we bought for 10 million naira in 2007. By 2013, that little property was already 80 million naira. Now, if you are skilled to be able to, I don't know how many percent returns is that? If you can now put something on it and make it bigger. So on that property, we built a block of 4 terraces that we sold, and each was sold for 60 million naira each. Okay, and how did we do it? We only had 11 million. We started with 11 million to start building. By the time we got just by the lintel stage of the ground floor, we got a buyer. The buyer came to buy, and once this buyer bought, we used the money that he paid to buy to complete that transaction. So the total money that was spent on that whole thing was just about 22 million, and then we made a whooping maybe 240 million. So it is possible for you to that's one major one. Trading also works in Nigeria. Okay. There are more questions, and this session is almost over. I have to go to the next, so you can ask another question. You can see me one on one, but this time around, I'm going to charge. Okay. Question about savings. How do you save? Oh, it's very, very simple. Let me tell you the way to save. Have a direct debit instruction and put that money that you're taking away into an account that you will not have access to. Okay, I did it for some. I've done it for some people. I have a few people in my network that I help to save, and there's a particular one. I'm not going to mention his name, for security reasons. He said I don't know how to do it. When he was earning 5,000, I made sure I took 2,000 from him every month. It was tough. It was tough. And I did it. I said, you know what? You have lived on 1.5 for the last 2, 3 years. So you're going to continue to live on that. Take out your tithe. That belongs to God. And then I will take 2,000. And I did that. So now this person started earning 700,000 about 15 years after. And I insisted the same way. I said, maintain this lifestyle. Because I understand the principle that God always gives the 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of harvest. And I'm saying this to all of you. A lot of times we don't know that when God brings increase to you, it's for a season. There's a time of drought and there's a time of famine. And you must know that season that you're in. I made sure the person was saving. And the person said to me, you know what? I trusted you with my 2,000. I can trust you with a lot. And the person gave me 10 million. I was able to work with him. At the end of January 2nd this year, I gave him 17.6 million. He was like shocked. And just then, he was told they are no longer getting funding from the place that was funding their corporation, and he was asked to leave his job. But by the time I gave him the money and the money he had almost like, I don't know, I don't want to tell you. So it was okay to go away. Now is a season of famine for him, but he is not in famine. So one way is direct debit instruction to a savings account that you don't even have access to. Then when you compound that savings, you can now use it. I know Dr. Martin is listening, and he's my mentor and my role model. It's my role model. Do you want to say something, sir? Okay. Yes, sir. Hmm. Thank you, Pastor Linell. I'm waving. I'm waving here. I love you both, and I'm so excited that you're on with me. I'm not going to say much more on finance because my daughter said, Mom, you're giving it out for free. Don't do so. So if you want to know more, okay, you need to come to a one-on-one session with me. Okay, if you want to do a one-on-one session with me, I can do 1 hour, 1.5 hours, but you have to pay for it. Okay, but before you go today, I'm still giving you out this for free. If you're going to make money, you must enjoy what you're doing. You know what I'm doing now? I can do it all day long. I can do it Monday to Friday, 24/7. I can stay up all night doing it, okay? Because I love doing it. I'm not just going to see John Maxwell doing something and I want to jump in and start doing it because it's profitable for him. It's not his nature. You are designed for what you're called to do. So you must know what you're designed for. That would be your opportune time. That will be your appointment. Okay. So don't just try to do what everybody's doing. Don't copy anybody. Just do what is right. Okay? Just do what is right for your shape. Okay, so enjoy what you're doing. You know, there's this man, Damon John. He was a waiter in one of, this is an inside joke. Pastor Lynette took me to Red Lobster, so I know that. And it was a waiter there, not the one we went to a long time ago. And he loved serving people. And he kept serving people and was making a lot of money on tips. And he was using the tips to develop a clothing line that evolved into a 6 billion brand. He used the money on tips. Okay. I have someone, the person that does my nails, she was making money on her tips. And she used the money of her tips to set up her business. She enjoys doing what she's doing. So one of her tips to making money is to enjoy doing what you're doing. Don't be a copy, be an original.
So, everyone listening, I'm getting people messaging me on WhatsApp. Your mom is giving us the gold. I know she is. What you're going to have to do now, we're going to put a link. You know what we're going to do? If you want to know more, if you want a one-on-one session, send an email right now to askmejohnson.com. askme@funmijohnson.com. You're going to get the information for how you can have a one-on-one session. We're also going to have a small group session of maybe 10 people, 10 to 20 people, where you can ask your questions and get answers. I'm getting so many questions in the chat. We're not going to give you these answers for free because you're not going to value it if you get it for free. So we're going to wrap it up really quickly. If you have any last words, Mom, you can tell us now. Otherwise, we're going to go into a break, very short break. You can stand up, get some water, go and use the bathroom if you need to. I don't want you to miss any second of this. I'm going to come right back, and when we come back, it's going to be the dating and love session just before we have parenting session. So, Mom, any last words?
Last word is my daughter has spoken. Okay, we're going to the next session just after 2 minutes break. The 2 minutes break is to let you get a cup of water, and I'm going to advertise some things that I want you to know more about me. Okay, so one-on-one session, we're going to make it open to you. And if you do register today and pay today, then you may be able to have some whooping discounts. But all my counselors have said, if you keep giving out for free, they will never treasure it. The people that did something with the advice you gave them, they paid a price to get it. So you may need to pay a price, to get this. Okay. The next section will be love, relationship. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that. And a lot of questions. And my anchor person for that is going to be Arabasego, all the way from the United Kingdom. Ayo Phillips, thank you so much. You can coordinate all the other questions. I may still be able to answer them and send it to their email boxes. Thank you, Ayo. Thank you so much. So we can have a short break now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Is it charging now? Was it okay? I think so too.
So that's it. If you find a good cover,
You think it was good?
Finance or money or whatever.
So, like 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I didn't see.
Oh, okay, those are the
5 years more, 2 years more. Bye bye. Bye. Cut it off.
Is that over?
No, no, no.
Okay, that's it.
That's it. That's it. Let me check. Stop on my share.
Is that all?
Meet it.
Is that all for this?
I'm leaving it up. So that she.
Okay.
Just drink some water.
No, 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 I'm fine.
Oh, shit.
Let's get this together first.
You're playing reset again? You're supposed to play reset and Whitefield.
I'll fast forward up here. Sorry. That's good. I wish I'd seen it. I wish I'd monitoring.
I think you don't play Whitefield. Let me just start. Let me just start. I will just talk on it and start. Eh?
Because it was a key. Maybe just 1 minute. That's it. People also are going to toilet whatever it is, so it's fine. Imagine looking at this until when you're ready to be charging. Send it first one. We'll tell you when to go, baby. We'll tell you when to go. Don't worry. That's what it's
Mm-hmm.
You're giving us too much free stuff. You look very nice.
Yeah, we should do this. So you're going to go after this now. Don't use it yet. Let it charge. So what is the stage? That's usual.
I think you're ready. Can't hear.
Okay.
They're ready to go now.
Okay, that's the break. You have some interlude, and I'm back. This is Funmi Johnson. Today is my birthday, and I'm giving out what I love to do most. Help humanity. This expression I do in so many ways. Yes, I run the Whitefield Foundation. It's been incorporated since 2003, and my passion is to see that everyone is given the leverage to become something. And let me tell you something. God takes the poor out of the dunghill and makes the poor to sit amongst the princes of his people. You also can sit among kings. You only need to learn how to do so. So Whitefield Foundation is committed to helping people, to supporting the needy until we empower you to become somebody. We don't want you to be a beggar perpetually. If you want to know more about Whitefield Foundation, you can reach out to me, familytoday@funmijohnson.com. And also this Saturday, we're going to be hosting, 3 marketplace people. The MD of the Bank of Industry in Nigeria is going to be a panelist, in the marketplace session. We're also going to have Ola Brown, a 33-year-old doctor, the first young person to have the flying doctors in West Africa. We're going to have her. And then the special advisor to the president of Nigeria on education, Fela Bankolemo, is also going to be on the panelist for the morning session of Reset on Saturday. You better register. You better register. Now, for the evening session, we have, Dr. Funmi Johnson. I gave my life to Christ under him. You don't want to miss that session in the evening of the 30th. If you haven't registered, better go do so. Don't let it be like Funmi Johnson that you missed out and the people that are locked out now. You better come in. Now, I'm on to the second session, and this is on singlehood, relationship. I want to start by saying something. We were made to love and be loved. We were made to love and be loved. So before I start asking you, I'm answering your questions, I want you to know one thing. But we have a wrong concept of that word love. When you see your dog, you say, oh, I love this dog. I love this cat. I love this dress. I love this. So we think love is just we don't understand it. That's what I'm going to say. Okay. Another thing is we mistake infatuation for love. Infatuation is chemistry, is a hormonal chemical reaction. And if you just see someone and you go biz on that person and you don't check the person out and you don't study, you just make mistake, which is why a lot of people are running into problems in their relationship. Okay. Now, almost 50% of marriages are ending in divorce. Now, if marriages are like flights, okay, if you know that the statistics is 50% of planes are going to fall, are you going to break? Are you going to fly the plane? My anchor person, my moderator for this relationship is Arabasego. Arabasego is in the UK, but thank God for COVID-19 that has taught all of us to make the world a global village. So she's collating the questions now, and I'm sure she will be able to ask us the questions shortly. Okay, and then we don't understand that love is a skill that we will have to work at. Okay, there's a difference between falling in love and walking in love. Okay, now why am I saying this? The problem is we have the Hollywood and Bollywood and Nollywood standard of love, and that's the one that is all over the screen, and that's the one that we are patterning our life after. It's gonna fail. And I'll tell you what the Nollywood and Bollywood and the Hollywood style is find Mr. Right, okay? Fall head over heels in love with him or her, okay? Put all hopes and dream into that person, that him or her that you're falling in love with. And then if you're disappointed, repeat step 1, 2, and 3. Let me tell you the Hollywood standard. Find Mr. or Mrs. Right, fall head over heels in love with him or her, put all hopes in him, and if he fails, repeat step 1 to 3. Now, you can't do that. Let me tell you how God wants you to be. And that is where you can prevent divorce and heartbreaks. Instead of finding Mr. Right, you should become Mr. Right. You should become Mrs. Right. You should spend your single days on making yourself the best person, making yourself an improvement of last year and an improvement of yesterday. You should be able to sit down and do what I call self-evaluation, which brings self-awareness. Ask yourself, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Ask people around you. Talk to me about myself. If 5 people tell you you always put your nose in the air, then they may be telling the truth. If they tell you you have a body odor, come on. It may sound really awful, but that may be the truth. If there's a recurring decimal in whatever you're asking, then something you need to take care of. But most times we don't do that. We're busy looking for Mr. and Mrs. Right when we are totally Mr. Wrong. So the approach is be Mr. Right. Okay? Be the right person. Then the second thing is learn to walk in love. Go and read the Bible. Open your Bible to Galatians chapter 5 and understand what the fruit of the Spirit is. Understand the equanimity of love. Understand how to walk in patience. Understand how to exercise self-control. Don't fall in love yet. Learn to walk in love. Understand how to forgive. Hey, marriage is one place where forgiveness takes place daily. You know, the thing you told your spouse that you don't like yesterday, he will stop doing that one and do another one that you don't like today. So you have to have become an expert at forgiveness for you to be able to qualify it to be a high priest in marriage. So I said, be Mr. Right. Okay. Then number two, walk in love. Then number three, fix your hope and expectation on God. There are certain things that no human being can meet, those needs no human being can meet in your life. So when you're getting married and expecting someone to affirm you, to complete you, you are only complete in God. No man can complete you. Hey, can you hear it? So read my lips. No woman can complete you. No man can complete you. I don't care if it's Bill Gates or if he's a pauper. No one can complete you. We are only complete in him. So be Mr. Right. Number two, walk in love. Number three, fix your hope and expectation on God, seeking to please Him through the relationship. Then you will attract someone who is also like you. A lot of girls, they want to attract the right man. Are you the right woman? A lot of guys, they go to church to go and look for the good girls. They don't know that the good girls, supposed good girls they find in church, they have disguised themselves also because they know you were coming there. So it's like fake calling onto fake. And so when you get married, you now see that both of you have been scammed. Don't be scammed, okay? Be the right person. And then you would now attract the right person, okay? Another thing I said about love, but before I open to the question, is that, you see, in the English, we only have one definition or understanding of love. But in Greek have love defined in different ways. There is the eros, okay? A need-centered, love based on attraction and fulfillment. Okay, is best described by the nature of a magnet. That's the eros. Magnet's drawing capacity remains on. It attracts instantly any object that has the right characteristics. That is why when you look for a girl that has, that is 26, maybe 32, 26, 38. Once you see other girls with that vital statistics, like a magnet, you keep looking for them. So you look for them when you're single, you look for them when you're married, you look for them when you're even up to your grave time. So you can't do that. Okay, that's the eros love. It's very sensual. It's limited to just what you see and what you feel. And most times, that is what we say when you see someone. Hey, there's nothing wrong in seeing someone that you like, okay? Because there's a need to recognize the content and the container. But if you base your judgment on just the container, you're going to be in trouble, okay? So you can't base your relationship on errors. Then the filial is the friendship love. It means reciprocal, sharing time, hobbies, fellowship. You need to have a friend. And then the third one is the agape, the giving love, the love of sacrificial commitment, giving others what they need when they deserve, whether they deserve it or not. Okay, giving others what they need, whether they deserve it or not. So now, if you want to go into marriage, you need to start with the agape. Okay, now you can be attracted by the eros. You can have companionship by the filial, but you need the agape. But most times the equation is wrong. We just see the errors. We see the beauty. We see the opulence. We see, the qualifications. We see the class. We see the style. And that's what we go for. So if you're single and you're listening to me at this point, you need to ask yourself if you're right or wrong. There's this man, Les and Leslie Parrott. They teach a course in Seattle Pacific University called Relationship. And this is what they have to say. They say, if you attempt to build intimacy with a person before you've done the hard work of becoming a whole and healthy person, every relationship will be an attempt to complete the hole in your heart. And the lack of what you don't have, that relationship will end in disaster. I'm going to say that again. If you attempt to build intimacy with a person before you've done the hard work of becoming a whole and healthy person, every relationship will be an attempt to complete the hole in your heart and the lack of what you don't have. That relationship will become a disaster. You need to maximize your singlehood to perfecting and enhancing who you're supposed to be. Work on yourself. Whether you're 22 or you're 38, you still have one more ground to cover to be a better person. person. I'm going to allow the questions to come now. Araba, are you ready for me before I keep firing on? I have my 10 commandments I want to share with the singles, but before I do that, let me have the questions. I didn't get that. What is the process? I get that. Why is the process of connecting with the opposite sex complicated by so many relational risks? Yes, the process is complicated because human beings are complicated. And then because we put the cart before the horse, we put the horse before, the cart before the horse. It has to be the other way around. We need to deliberately develop our own culture and strategy. We need to stop following the culture and the standard of the world. We need to bring our own people from within. We cannot, be using the principles of the world and then trying to become people of God. Okay, so you would just have problems. So it has a lot of complexities because one, we misunderstand the concept of love. Two, we're using the Nollywood and Hollywood standard in our approach, and we can't afford to do that. Number three, we need to go back and redefine our standard based on the principle of God's word. Okay, you can ask the next question. How can something so natural and beautiful lead us into